This is an attunement practice inspired by Richard Rudd, founder of the Gene Keys, called the Dragonfly's Dream. Let's take a pause. I invite you to become aware of your breath. Find a comfortable position for this meditation. Let's go ahead and take a couple deep breaths in. And now let's place our hand on our belly, the gut biome, all that DNA in the belly. And let's just tune into that bacterial realm down there, because it's there deep in the solar plexus. Something extraordinary is stirring. An ancient consciousness that we developed in a past cycle long ago, but one that is dormant yet fully developed. Now that's something. Which means that as it awakens, it could awaken very fast. So gently, let's listen to that inner realm of the solar plexus, the belly, the massive amount of DNA that we have in there, the synarchy operating, keeping us alive, keeping us healthy. The dragonfly, the life cycle of the dragonfly. The first part of it is life spent in deep underwater. So let's begin to imagine now this watery, dark realm, this realm deep in your belly. And the dragonfly isn't a dragonfly yet. It's an underwater predator. It's kind of a gray, drab color, and it lives underwater as a nymph, a fearsome creature devouring little microorganisms and tiny fish, predatorial, part of the ecosystem down there. This is humanity. And yet, deep inside this watery realm, this unconscious realm, invisible mutations are occurring. The dragonfly, as yet unborn, the nymph senses them, feels them. The nymph doesn't understand them. It feels a change taking place. These deep little birth pains. This is humanity. And then one day, after a series of these little mutations, the time is ready. And a final mutation takes place. And a gene key is sparked. A specific gene. A tiny, innocent, dormant gene is sparked spontaneously. And it catalyzes an entire process of behavior that is completely new. And the larva changes its trajectory, and it starts to point vertically. And it looks up through its dark gray eyes, and it senses for the first time the light above. And it seeks out a stalk, or grass, or a reed, or a stem of a plant or flower, and it wraps its legs around that stalk and it starts to climb. And it's a new behavior. It doesn't even know why it's doing it, but it climbs. It climbs towards the light, up. It reaches the top, the surface of the water. Perhaps it pauses for a moment, and then it carries on. Its head breaks its surface of the water, and for the first time ever, it tastes sunlight and air. But its legs keep pushing it upwards. It has no choice now. The evolutionary impulse is too powerful. This is humanity. And then it reaches a place of pause. Its whole body is now in the sunlight. Huge forces are working on it, externally and internally. Genes triggered all over the place, whole processes, perhaps terrifying, perhaps chaotic. These strings of DNA awakening, unzipping, opening as the sun and the light burst into it, drying it out, forcing pressures, internal pressures to change it and transmute it. And it enters into a huge transmutation. This is humanity. Having lived underwater for 2 years, this creature is now an irreversible process that won't take more than a few hours. A tiny part of its life, a change coming so fast. There's a hydraulic pressure as a water inside the dragonfly starts to push, to squeeze and reshape the whole being. Something deeply mysterious hidden on the inside begins to unravel. The pressure is too great, and its back cracks open. And the thorax, the huge thorax, starts to uncurl in the sunlight. Shimmering, multicolored, iridescent, 2 crumpled wings, ice-soaked, still dripping in water as it unravels. And this dragon creature, with huge eyes, these incredible fractal eyes that can see in multi-dimensional vision, responds to the sunlight in magical and extraordinary ways, and it starts to breathe. And the water inside the dragonfly still pushes it as it dries out, opening up the wings, as it spreads and stretches, this rainbow creature, this beautiful creature. As the last layers of water dry up from inside this hydraulic pressure, the dragonfly wings slowly start to dry out and quiver. The whole creature is now poised in its new environment. It's magnificent. And suddenly a puff of wind comes under its wings, and it lifts quickly and silently into the air. This is humanity. And it takes off. This beautiful, magnificent creature, the most aerodynamic insect in existence. This insect can fly forwards and backwards. It can turn on a dime. It's fueled by this dragon energy running through it, free in the air to taste the beauties of Gaia, the meadows, the sunlight, the freedom. This is humanity. Here we lay in the darkness, waiting for this moment. Look into your belly and see that this is the place where the transmutation begins. And it will spread upwards through our diaphragm, through our spine, through our brain, opening up the wings of our heart, bringing this thread, this multicolored thread through our brainstem, our higher faculties, opening up that third eye, allowing us to see the fractal lines of the higher planes. And so we soar with a free heart and with new wings. This is humanity. This is where we're going. So breathe. Breathe and feel that freedom coursing through your being. Feel what you will become in this life or the next life. It's coming soon. It will take root. It has already taken root, and it lies dormant in our human DNA. And it's going to come into our bodies and our being. And it's going to come at the point of conception. And the children in the beginning, they will be born into this. And they will build communities with golden teachings, spreading the deep transmutations of love and truth and wisdom that have laid dormant in the belly of our genome for thousands of years. And with it comes the new human, Homo sanctus, the sacred human, to take our rightful place in Gaia, in the skies of Gaia, to create synarchy, to create communities where syntropy rules. We are giving, not taking, begins to rule, becomes law. Natural law, not humanly made law. From the inside, felt in the cells of our beings. No need for external laws anymore. And slowly this transmutation starts to move over generations further and further and deeper into humanity and civilization. And this golden thread starts to spread and infect all beings with its good fortune. And then we attain the next level of our civilization. So bringing your palm to your belly, take a deep breath. This is the story of the dragonfly. This is the story of the great change according to the gene keys, in which the future human begins to dawn. Everyone wants to know when. Very soon. We are in the age of transition. We are climbing up the stalk. And it is the most precarious time. This time of chaos and uncertainty. Because we have this creature inside us and we are falling apart. But the new hasn't fully appeared, which is why this great faith is so deeply needed now. The gene keys are here to help us prepare for this great change. So we can expect it to go on for some time. The vision of this Homo sanctus coming to Richard Rudd prompted him to write the gene keys. And it took him 7 years of alchemically experiencing this transmutation. For me, having deeply devoted myself to this curriculum of the gene keys, I myself have had the experience of feeling this mutation in a very deep, profound, and personal way. As though I am a prototype for this next phase. And it feels as though I always knew this growing up. Richard Rudd says, what more secret way could Christ consciousness come through than in our DNA? As Jesus biblically said, like a thief in the night. There is a big wave of more people experiencing plant medicine, wanting to see through the eyes of the future human. These eyes open through the heart. This all-seeing gene key, 17, which sees through the eye of universal love, gene key 25, which happens to be my EQ, how I emotionally develop, and my beloved's purpose sphere. So how holographic is this universe? This, to me, feels like the Atlantean spiritual technology, which I know can sound controversial depending on the frequency in which we hear it. 1 and 1 became 3. Everything happens in a trinity. There is a Trivian race coming, and that is a reclaiming of the divine trinity. The Ma, the mother, the father, the Pa, and the divine child, syntropy, synarchy, and synthesis. This divine trinity, it is a field that has been waiting for us to reach it. And that is how we awaken into this next layer. This is a time now for creation. This is the dragonfly's dream. So let's go ahead and rest in this moment, taking in another deep breath from the base of our pelvic floor, feeling that vertical pillar of light, that thorax unfurling into the light. And exhale, softening, releasing, inviting in patience, trust,